early comer. The rest they'll find us. So, but go slowly so that we make it a little bit interactive, so that all those small steps that might cause issues are covered. Okay, Benjamin. So the rest will find us when we are going on.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bri, ask us many questions. So Benjamin will just take it slowly, because the intention of this class is for everybody to get to the level whereby they can fire up Django, and we can start the Django project. Because these initial steps, when we get them right, then it will be easier for us to get the other steps. But if we don't get it right, then it's going to be a problem.
Okay.
Yes, so ask Benjamin as many questions as you want. And yeah, so Benjamin, proceed. Welcome, Anna. Bonnie, welcome as well. Anna, you are there?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Bonnie, you are there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. So Benjamin is going to recap what we've already covered, and he will be like will not be will take it slowly, so for us to just ensure that we get everything. Yeah, so where you feel you are not, that's the essence of this recap class, so that we can interact. The other one, you don't, the Monday one, we try, it's like a marathon, but at least today you can interact, ask questions. We can go slowly, take you through slowly until you catch. Anna, I know you said that you got only up to the where we started the project, but the rest you missed them. So please be very keen as Benjamin is taking us through. Okay. Once more.
Hi guys. I hope everyone can hear me well.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so thanks for joining today's class. So today is just a revision of what you've been doing in the previous classes, and we started on Django, and we've been trying to understand the basic concepts of Django that will be able to help us to work on our backend part of our web applications. So maybe just in probably 10-15 minutes, we can just get to understand first of all the theory of Django, because once you've gotten the theory, now once we start doing the commands, everything will make sense. You will not just be writing commands for the sake of writing, but you'll understand what you're doing, and you'll understand each and every process, so that when you are on your own, you can be able to do it independently. So this is just revision. I'm sure you had done this in the previous classes. So maybe in the next just 10 minutes, let's just understand what Django framework is, and the basic things like virtual environments, understand things like what is a project, what is an application, all those terms that we've been referring to. So I think a good place to start with is what is a framework. We need to understand, because now Django is a framework, we need to understand what are frameworks, and what is the purpose of a framework in a programming language, or when you're doing software engineering. So a framework is a structure that provides a base for application development. So it is a pre-written set of tools, libraries, conventions and conventions that provide the structured foundations for building applications. So what we mean by frameworks, anytime you hear of a programming framework, it's basically a pre-built set of tools or a pre-built structure that helps you not to develop things or code things from scratch. So you already have written libraries, you already have written structures, you already have things that have been tested that you can be able to utilize instead of starting building your softwares from scratch or starting building your modules from scratch. You can be able to leverage on what other people have done and they've been tested and proven. So it helps to make your work easier as you're developing. The second thing that the second benefit of a framework, it helps you so that you do not keep reinventing the wheel. So some of these things have been done before. So instead of you doing them from scratch, you can just leverage on what other people have been able to do and make your work easier, make your coding journey way shorter as you're building your applications. So we need to understand just a few benefits of frameworks. And now here I'm just talking about general frameworks. We have very many frameworks that will not, for now our focus is Django, but at your own time you can just go and look at the various frameworks that you have for different languages, Java, front-end frameworks, back-end frameworks, gaming frameworks, and all that. So a few benefits, first of all, it helps you to reduce time and effort when you are working on your web applications or when you're working on your projects, because a lot of these things have already been developed. So it reduces the time that you have to work on things, and it reduces the number of code that you have to write because you're not starting from scratch. You're leveraging on tools that are already there. So it reduces the time that you spend on developing your applications. The second benefit is it helps us to write clean and understandable code. One of the advantages of a framework is because it's a standard way of probably building a web application or building a mobile application. It helps us because we have a uniform and a universal way of writing our code. So it makes our code more understandable compared to if everyone was building everything from scratch. You'll end up building your code according to your own preferences. But this one, it helps us to standardize everything. Another advantage of frameworks, because we've said that it comes with what we refer to as batteries included. Basically, it comes with tools that help you in your development journey. Things like testers and debuggers that can be able to help you test your work and to debug if, let's say, you have errors in your code, you have bugs in your code. You can be able to know where the problem is exactly because you have tools that are built in to help you with that. Frameworks also help us to build more secure systems and applications over time. Then another thing is scalability. With frameworks, you can be able to scale your applications further and further. You can be able to add onto them and make them grow bigger and bigger, add more functionalities and all that. So I hope that is clear. We have different types of frameworks. We have front-end frameworks, we have back-end frameworks. This one you can just go and research it at your own time. But now our focus will be on the backend framework, specifically Django. We have others like Ruby on Rails. We have Angular. All those are frameworks that you can be able to use. But our focus for now is Django, which is a framework that has been built using the Python language. So maybe now we can get to understand what is what is the Django framework. So as we've said, a framework is a set of tools and elements that helps us with a speedy development process. So a framework is more or less like a template that has already been built for you to be able to just use it and customize it to your liking. For example, if you're building a web application, you just take the template and modify it according to how you'll want your application to be. So I'll send these notes because of I'll send these notes because of time. You can just go through them. So for now, let me just touch on the important things so that we use most of our time to do the practicals. Okay, so let me just open a command prompt. You can also do it on your side so that you understand what you're doing and you can be able to follow. Where you get stuck, just let me know, or if I'm moving too fast. So I'll be switching between the commands and the notes so that we understand exactly what you're doing. So as we've said, Django is a framework that is built on Python, and it helps us to work on the backend parts of our web application, but also it helps us to be able to integrate our front-end parts of our web application to our backend parts and also to our databases, so we can be able to develop a complete system from the front end to the logical part, which is the backend part, to the database, and Django can help us with all these processes. So the first thing that we are going to do is to be able to create a Django project and to be able to launch a Django project. There are two ways that you can create a Django project, and so you can just follow this process that I'll be doing. So the first way is you can be able to create a directory locally on your local machine. This is what I mean. For example, all these directories that I've created, you can be able to create a directory, and a directory, we say that another name of a directory is a repository or a folder. So it's just a container that will be able to house your project or contain the files that will be used in your project. So to be able to create a repository locally, we have to follow a few steps. The first one is determine the location that you want your repository to be stored or to be located. We have different locations in our PC. So for example here, let me just go back to CMD. Is my screen big enough?
Yes, it is.
So we are currently on C, and what I'll just do, I'll just type this command dir, which stands for directory, and it's used to show us the contents that are inside our directory. So let me see. So all these contents that are inside our directories, and all these memory locations. For example, we have a desktop, which is our desktop. We have documents, and documents is it's this one. We have downloads, we have all these memory locations. So the first thing when let me just clear the screen. The first thing that you do, you determine the memory location that you want your project to be. And the best one is usually our desktop. And the reason is for you to be able to access your project easily. So for you to be able to enter into your desktop, we say that you use the command cd, which means change directory, and then desktop. So we are inside our desktop. We can, if for example, if I just type dir, we can see the different contents of our desktop. So we are inside our desktop. So the next thing that I'll do now that I'm inside the location that I want to create my project, I'll go ahead. So this is the process of creating a repository locally in your local machine or in your laptop or your computer. So the next thing that I'll do, I'll create a repository that will be able to contain my Django projects. So to do that, I just type the command mkdir, which means make directory. Mkdir, make directory, then the name of a directory. So let me give it a name, sit underscore technologies. Yeah, so I've created it, and if I again type dir, we can see that we've already created it. It's here. So after we have created it, we need to enter into that directory. We need to go inside that directory so that we can start creating our Django project. To do that, we do the same thing that we've just done a few minutes ago, which is we change directory. Now we are changing into the directory or the repository or the folder that you've just created. So to do that, we just type cd, which means change directory. Then the name of our directory, it's a sit technologies. I think let me just see. Yes, so as you can see here, now we are inside our new directory that we've just created. So if I just type dir again, we'll see that our directory is currently empty. There is nothing inside our directory. And if we go back to our desktop here, we can see that this is the directory that I've just created, this one. You can see it at the moment, it's empty. The second way that you can be able to create a directory is on GitHub. So you remember the process that we said that if you want to create a directory, let's say I say sit254. I add a README file, I create a repo. So this one is creating a Django project remotely. And the advantage with this is that you can be able, once you're done working on your project, you can be able to push it to GitHub so that you don't lose your work, and you can start keeping track of your changes. So I just come and copy the code. By now, I'm sure we are all good with creating repos on GitHub. So now I'm back on my desktop, and let me just clear the screen. I'm back on my desktop. So this is the second way I'm showing you to create a Django project. So I'll just come, I'm on the desktop, and I'll just git I'll just clone the repo that I've just created. We've already cloned it, and then I'll change my directory into the repo, which is hits 254. Then I enter. So let me just dir. We can see now this is the repo that I've just created. It's here. So these are the two ways that you can be able to create a directory or a repository. So that's the first thing that you do when you're creating a Django project. Up to there, any questions? Any questions? Okay, so let's go to the second step. Now that we've created our directory and we are inside our directory, we need to create a virtual environment. So let's just go back to our notes. So what are virtual environments? So when we talk about virtual environments in Django or any programming languages, we are referring to an isolated workspace that allows you to be able to manage your dependencies on your project without affecting the global installation of Python. So when we are referring to virtual environments, what we are simply saying is you're creating an isolated space, or you're creating an independent space for your project to be able to work and function and run independently. And in just a few minutes, we'll be understanding the reasons why virtual environments are important, especially in relation to dependencies. So think of virtual environments as probably rooms in a house or rooms in a building. So one of the reasons that we usually have multiple rooms, let's say in a building, is for you to be able to have different, for example, if you go to a building that has different offices, you'll find that it has probably different rooms with different departments and all that. So virtual environments usually function like that. So we have our local machine, which is your laptop or your desktop or whatever you're using to code, that has your dependencies, things like the Python that you've installed in your local machine, let's say the Django that you've installed in your local machine. So these ones are stored globally. And what I mean by globally, assuming you've installed Python in this, Python in this machine. So this Python affects all the files that are related to Python in this machine. Now, where a virtual environment usually comes into play, virtual environments usually help us to create an isolated space in such a way that once you create your project, it can be independent of other projects. It's you. What we are trying to say is you are isolating it. You are isolating it so that it is not affected by other projects. And one of the advantages of creating a virtual environment is that you can be able to have as many projects as possible in your machine and they will not conflict. For example, I'll just give you an example here. These are some of the projects that I'm currently working on. There are 23 projects, and all these projects, I'm building them using Python, I'm building them using Django, and I'm building them using dependencies. When you talk about dependencies are things or modules that you can be able to plug into your projects for them to work. So dependencies usually help you so that you don't have to build things from scratch. So all these, for example, all these 23 projects have different Python versions. and have different Django versions and different dependencies that are in these projects. So if I do not create virtual environments, there is a very high likelihood that there'll be very many conflicts in these projects that I'm currently working with. But now, because I've created virtual environments, it's like I've created virtual rooms for these projects to be able to run independently. So all these projects can be able to run without interfering with each other. So that's the main purpose of a virtual environment. Does it make sense? So why do we use virtual environments? We use virtual environments, as I have said, to isolate projects so that you can be able to work on projects independently without conflicting with other projects. The second thing is virtual control. So it helps you to avoid unnecessary conflicts. So for example, I was using on this project, I was using Python. Let's say this Bible game, I was using Python version 2.9, and this other project, this dental project, I was using Python 3.13. All these two Pythons are different. They are different versions. But if I do not use a virtual environment, they're likely to conflict. But now that I'm using a virtual environment, all these projects are isolated and are independent from each other. So I hope that is understandable up to there. So how do you create a virtual environment? To create a virtual environment, you simply use the VNV module. So you just type this command. You can either type Python flag m Python flag m VNV. So this VNV is a module that helps us. It's a module in Django that helps us, in Django and in Python, that helps us to create virtual environments. So this is a module that will help us to create a virtual environment. Now, after you've written this command, Python -m VNV, the last thing that you need to write is the name of your virtual environment. It can be any name. It can be virtual environment. It can be, let's say, our virtual environment, we can give it a name seats. We can give it a name ABC. It can be any name of, it's just a preference issue. So for me, I'll give it the name VNV. And for me, I usually like to give it the name VNV because I give all my projects the name VNV so that I don't have to keep remembering the name that I gave my virtual environment. So once I've done that, I just type enter and I wait for it to create a virtual environment. So it has created a virtual environment. Once you've created a virtual environment, the next thing that you need to do is to activate the virtual environment that you've just created. If you do not activate it, then it will not be able to run. Okay, and also anytime that you'll be opening your Django project in future, every time that you're starting let's say you had closed it or you're working on another project, anytime that you're coming back to that project, you'll need to activate that virtual environment for it to be able to be active and run. and to be able to run the way it's supposed to run. So to activate your virtual environment, you simply write the name of your virtual environment, and you remember we gave it a name of VNV, right? So we'll just write the name of our virtual environment, then this backward slash, then scripts. And the scripts, the S, you start with a capital letter, capital S, then the others are small letters. So always remember, when you're writing scripts, you start with a capital S, then small letters, then backslash activate. So this is how you activate your virtual environment. And to confirm that it has been able to activate, you will see it will display the name of your virtual environment in brackets, in round brackets. Now, after we've created our virtual environment, now here is where we'll get to understand how dependencies work and the reasons why we were saying that virtual environments are important to isolate our work. The next process that we need to do is to install Django inside of our virtual environment. So this Django that we've installed will be specific for this Django project that we've just created. So to install Django, we simply use the pip package, which is a Python package. The pip package is a Python package that usually helps us with a few functionalities, and I'll get to just explain what pip does in just a few minutes. So to install Django, you simply write this command, pip install Django, and you wait for it to install Django. So depending on the speed of your machine, it might take a few seconds to a few minutes, depending on how fast or how slow your machine is. So at the moment, you can see that it's downloading it's installing Django into our virtual environment. And once it's done, it will be able to notify us. Any question as we proceed? Anything that is not clear?
Question.
Yeah.
Do you need to do Python -m VNV to activate the virtual environment?
So it's here. Okay, let me just open another CMD to just explain that so that you don't get confused. CD desktop DR. So let's use this one that we had just created. So we are inside our desktop. So let's CD into this project that we had created earlier. Now, I want you to get the difference where we use -m and where we activate. So to create a virtual environment, this is the command that you use, py-m VNV. So this VNV, it's a module that helps us to create the virtual environment. This is a module that helps us to create the virtual environment. .py simply means it's short form for Python. After you've written this, the next thing that you need to do is to write the name of your virtual environment. I can give it a name of sit. So this is how you create the virtual environment. Or the second way that you can be able to create a virtual environment, it's just the same way, but this one is shorter, is to write Python in full, then -m, then VNV, then let's say I give it a name of, you can give it your virtual environment any name. Let's say I give it a name of sit. Okay. Now what we've done here on here, we've created the virtual environment. Now, after you've created the virtual environment, the next step is to activate the virtual environment. To activate the virtual environment, you simply pick the name of the virtual environment that you've just created, then backslash, then scripts, then backslash activate. And if you remember, I said you start with a capital S for scripts, so always remember that. Activates. Now notice the difference. This one is sit. What's this one? This one is VNV. It basically takes the name of the virtual environment that you've created. I don't know if you've gotten the difference.
Thanks, gotten.
Okay, so let's go back to our other project. So we have we've created the repository or the directory or the folder. Then we've created our virtual environment. And after we've created our virtual environment, we created it here using this command. We've activated it here using this command. After that, we've installed Django inside our virtual environment. If you do not install Django inside your virtual environment, it will not work. So always remember, the next, you need to follow these steps. Bonnie, you have a question?
Yes, so after you create a virtual environment, you activate, then you install Django in any other project that you are creating, you are working on.
Yes, in every project that you'll be working on, as long as it's a Django project or it's a Django that you want to deploy the Django, or it's a project that you want to deploy the Django framework, you always need to install Django inside your virtual environment. Remember, we say that a virtual environment is an isolated workspace. So it separates your project from the global dependencies, and it makes your project to be isolated. So it's like you've created a room or you've created a container that will be able to house your project. Okay. So if you do not install Django inside that virtual environment, then it will not be able to access Django. So that's why you need to install Django in every project that you create using Django.
Okay, thank you.
So once we've installed it, now the next thing that we need to do, we can just check if Django has been installed correctly. So we can use the pip package. Maybe let's use this command pip freeze to check if Django has been installed correctly. No, it's pip pip freeze. Yes, so if it gives back this output, it means that Django has been installed correctly. So Django 5.2, it's here. Or to check if Django has been installed correctly, also you can use Django flag admin. So you can see these are all the dependencies that have been installed into our virtual environment. So we have all these dependencies that we'll be getting to them and understanding what they do shortly. For example, this one usually handles the database. This one is for the database. This one is for running our developmental server. This one is for our shell. Also this one, I think it's for the database. So we have different. We have this one, which we'll now get to use next. We have this one. Okay, so that's how you check whether if it does not bring back this, or it does not bring back this, then most likely there is an error that you've made and you need to fix it before you proceed. Now, after you've installed Django inside your virtual environment, the next thing that you need to do is to create a project inside of your virtual environment. So let's just understand what projects are. I think I had yeah, so it's here. So your project is basically the main folder that will be able to hold everything in your web application. So your project has everything that, or it will be the container that will be able to hold everything for you to be able to run your web applications successfully. And we'll be getting to understand. So we have two main things that you need to take note of: a project and an application. We'll be using projects and applications a lot, so you can just have it at the back of your mind. So what you're going to create next is a project, which basically will be the main, it will be like the main container that will be able to house our applications. And I'll get to, once we start doing it practically, you'll get to see how everything works. So the next thing you need to do is to create a project. Okay, and to create a project, you just type this command: Django admin start project, then the name of your project. Now this is a command that you write, then you finish by writing the name of your project. Again, as I explained with virtual environments, you can also give it any name that you desire. You can give it ABC, you can give it your name, you can give it, but always ensure that just to have a clean project, always ensure that you give it reasonable names. So give it a name that is related to that project, and give it a name that makes sense. So for example, you cannot just come and give your project, let's say we are building our school's website. You cannot just come and give it ABC. It's a name that is not it's not in relation to the project that you're doing. So for example, here I can come and say, maybe because we are building a seat website, I can just come and say, I give it a name of seat. Then this is just a personal preference. You don't have to do this, but I usually like to do this because it helps me to identify exactly in my project, in the projects that I'm working in, where my project exactly is. So after I've given it a name, and I usually give it the name that is according to the project that I'm working with, I usually like to end with PJ, so that I'll know that this one is the project that I've created. After that, there's something again very important that always you need to take note of. After you've given it a name, you need to put a space then end with a period or a full stop, so that Django does not create a subfolder which might cause conflicts in future. So once we are done, I'll also show you, if we do not use this period at the end, the problem that you're likely to encounter. If you'll have time, we'll create a project without this period, and we'll see why we should not do that. But for now, always remember that when you're writing, you're creating your project, this is the command that you need to use. And always end with a space, then a period at the end. So I've created a project, then we can just type dir to check the contents of our project and how it's coming along. So at the moment we have this manage.py that we'll get to understand what it does. So today I don't want to give you a lot of information that might confuse you. So we'll just, as we proceed, we'll just be handling these concepts one by one until you're able to familiarize yourself with them. We have a readme file, we have the project that you've just created, which is this one. It's inside here, and we have our virtual environment. Okay. Now, once we are done with that, the next thing that we need to do is to check if our project has been, our Django project has been created successfully. And to be able to do that, we need to run our developmental server. So what's a developmental server? The developmental server is a server that helps you run your projects locally. So you don't have to host your projects or anything before you can see, you can be able to test them and see how they work and whether you've been able to create them successfully. A developmental server helps us that you can be able to run our projects locally as we are developing them. Okay. So to do that, we simply use this command, python manage.py run server. So it will be able to run a server. So you see, this is a port number that it has given us. So it shows us as that Python has been able to run successfully. So all you need to do is to come pick this URL, pick this port number, which is 127.0.0.0.1 You copy it. But if you're using Windows 11, all you need to do is to click on it and it will launch it on the browser. But if you're using Windows 10, then you need to copy it, then just come and paste it here. So if it brings this white screen with this message, it means that your Django has been set up successfully. Another way, if you do not want to use this long route, another way, instead of writing this long port number, you can simply write local host 8000. It's the same thing. So it will still run the same way. Now, the next thing that you need to do is now launch this project on VS Code so that we can now see it. Because now, command prompt is usually not very appealing in terms of seeing how the project structure is coming along. So we can get to see it on VS Code. So to do that, we simply break the server that we've just created, this one. We'll break it for now. Then to do that, you just write Control-C. Control-C. Yeah, so it has broken it. Then you launch your project that you just created in VS Code, which is code space period. Up to there, any questions? Any questions? Okay, so now this is the project structure. What we've been working on, all these commands that we've been writing, what we've been simply doing is simply building this project structure and creating all of this. So this is the project that you've created. This is a virtual environment. This is our database. For now, we are for developmental purposes. We are using SQLite, but anyway, for now, let me not get into databases. It will confuse you. Then we have this manage.py, which I'll also get to explain what it does. And we have this README file that we created when we are creating our project on GitHub. Okay. So maybe here I can just use this to highlight the process that you've gone through. We've created our directory. That's the first thing that we did. I want to take time here so that once we are done with this, we do not go back to it. So make sure that if there is any question, you ask, so that as we are setting the models, the views, and the templates, we do not have to go back to what we've done. So the first thing that we've done, we've created our directory or repository or a folder. It's more or less the same name, but the tech names that are usually used a lot are either directory or a repository. Okay. And to create that, we said that the first thing that you do, you cd into desktop or the location that you want your project to be. After you've done that, the second thing that you do is you create the directory that you'll be able to house your project. And you said you use the command mkdir, then directory name. Okay, so the second thing that you do once you've created your directory, you change into your directory, or you go inside your directory. To do that, you simply write cd, then name of your directory. Okay. The third thing that you do once you've done that is you create a virtual environment. Which is an isolated workspace. To do that, we said you can either use this python-m vnv, then virtual environment, the name of your virtual environment name, or you can simply write, instead of py, you can simply write python in full. It will still work. The fourth thing that you need to do, you need to install Django. Inside your virtual and this Django will be specific to this virtual environment alone. So to do that, you simply write pip install Django. Okay. After that, the fifth thing that you need to do is to check whether Django has installed successfully. And to do that, you simply write pip freeze or Django admin. Okay. After that, the next thing that you need to do is to create a project. So you need to create a project that will be able to ensure that it will be able to have all the files, all the settings, and all the things. And what I mean by all the files and all, you see, once we've created our virtual environment that we had created here, where is it? That once we created our project that we had created here, what we've simply done, it's this, we've created this project, and when you create it, now this is where a framework usually comes in beneficial, because now it has been able to come with these files that are pre-built, so that you do not have to build them from scratch. For example, we have settings that you can be able to set. For example, we can be able to set our applications, our middleware, our templates. We can be able to set our static files. There's so much, and we'll just be getting to explore these things one by one. We can be able to set our URLs. We have this tool that you usually don't use so much. We have this init.py. So what we've done, we've created a project, and you simply, to create that, simply use Django admin start project. So this is a command that you use. Then the name of your project. So I'll just say projects name. Then remember to end with a period. So that's where we are at the moment. So we'll need to move to the next thing. After that, you need to launch your developmental server. Launch your develop. And we said to do that, you simply write python manage.py run serve. To be able to break your server, all you need to do is Control C, Control plus C. After that, if you want to launch your project, if you had created it on a command line or a PowerShell or all these terminals that we usually use, to launch it on VS Code, you simply write code space period. Okay. Now, so that's where we are at the moment. The next thing that we need to do is to create an application. Now, we say that our project is, where is it? anyway, I cannot see those notes, but I'll just explain. We say that our project is usually it's usually the main folder that will be able to house our applications. In Django, we'll be using applications a lot. And what are applications? A few weeks ago, I think when I was talking about software engineering, I mentioned about modularization, which is basically taking one huge software or one huge problem. Let's use software in this case, and breaking it down into small meaningful functions. So this is what applications usually do. So an application is simply used to be able to perform one function, and it performs that function. It is I don't know how I can explain it. An application is used to perform, so it's more or less like a feature. So for example, we can, let me just use a practical example. So this is our seat website. Okay, this one I've not done it really. Yeah, so I think we can work with this. So an application is used for us to be able to, it's like an app on your phone. Oh, okay, yeah, I think this will make more sense. An application is like an app on your phone. Your phone has many apps that perform different functions. For example, WhatsApp is a messaging application that is specific for messaging. You have a calculator that is specific for doing calculations and all that. Probably you have a Google app that is used to write emails and all that. You have a messaging app. So those are applications. The same way when we are building our web applications, we usually break them down into small meaningful parts that perform specific functions. So for example, you'll have an application that is dealing with a blog. You'll have an application that, if it's a dental system, that is dealing with clients. Another one is dealing with maybe finance, things like those. So anytime that you've created a project, you need to create an application for it, and that's usually the next step here. So the next step is to create an application. So to be able to create an application, all you simply need to do, you can come here on your terminal on VS Code, or you can come here on the command line that you are using to create an application. You can just come. So for now, let me just use this one. It does the same thing. You just write this command, python manage.py start app. So that's the command, this one, to create an application. After that, you put a space, then the name of the application. So again, the same way we had done with the projects, it can be any name. So for me, I'll give it a name, seat, and so that I know it's an application. Again, this is not you are not compelled to do this, but I usually find it's a good practice to use this. Once you've written the name of the application, I usually like to end with with app, so that I know that it's an application. Once I've done that, with an application, you do not put a space period. It's only a project that you do that. Once you've done this, so this is a command that you use. You simply write enter, and I want you to notice here. So you can notice the application has been created, and it has come with a few files in it. We have the views, we have the tests, we have the models that will handle our databases, we have our applications file, we have our admin file for the databases. we have all these files, and we'll get to see how each and every one works. So up to there, any questions before we now proceed to set up everything? Any questions? Okay, are we all good up to there? So the next thing that you're going to do, we've created our application. So this is our project structure, and this is how it looks like. We have our main project, and inside of this main project, we have this seat application that we've just created. This is our virtual environment that contains all these files and folders that we are going to also be understanding as we move along. We have our database SQLite, which it's usually used to handle our database. We have all these files. Now that you've created it, the first thing that now we need to do is to come to our project here, and go to our settings files. So this settings files is what we usually use to set all the settings and all the configurations for our Django project or our Django application. Okay, we need to register this app, this seat app that you've just created here. We need to register it here. If you do not register it, it will not work. Okay, so you simply come and scroll down to where you'll find this section for the apps that we currently have. So to register it, you simply come, put this quotation mark. You can either choose to put single or double, it doesn't matter. So then you write the name of the app, which is seat app. There is usually a better way to register this application using the .config, but for now I don't want to confuse you. We'll get to that once we start advancing. So once we've done that, I think we are good. Then the second thing that we need to do is come down here at the bottom, at the very bottom, over at the very bottom, and we need to, or for now let me just leave it, so that because we are not using any static file, we'll do that in the next lesson, so that I don't give you a lot of information that might confuse you. Now, what you only need to do is just note this: we've registered the app in the settings.py. Okay. After you've registered it, the second thing that we need to do is come to our application itself here. We were inside our project, and our project has all these files. So we came to our setting files. You close the project, you open the application here, and you need to create a new file here inside of the application, not the project, inside of the application. And we need, you see, the same way we have this file urls.py, we need to create a similar file here that will be able to handle our URLs at the application level. So to do that, you simply come here, create a file, and name it url s.py. Okay. Now, there is something that I wanted to share with you. hope I find it. Yeah, I think it's this one. So Django, the Django framework usually it's built on the MVT architecture, and the MVT simply stands for model, view, and templates. Okay, when we are talking about models, where is it? We are talking about this. So models are used to handle data and the databases. We'll get to understand them in depth, but for now, just understand at a high level perspective what they do. So models are usually used for handling our data and our databases. Okay, so that's the simplest explanation I can give for now. Views are used to handle our logic. Okay, so that's views are the ones that will be able to make sure that our applications are able to work logically, and we will be able to handle all the logic and all the logic operations of our applications. Then the templates are simply the public facing files. So we've been learning about HTML, CSS, and all that. We will be using templates to render our output to the user using HTML files. So we usually refer to them as templates in Django. Up to there, is it clear? So for us to be able to start working on our project, we need to set up our Django project inside of here. The first thing that we need to do, we've already installed or we've already registered our application in the settings.py. The second thing that we need to do is to come to our views page, which is here, and register our views that will be able to pass them. So these views are the ones that will be able to handle the logic of our application. So to do that, we simply come here, and we had talked about functions and classes. There are two ways that you can be able to write your views. Either you can have function-based views or class-based views. For now, we'll use the simpler one for learning purposes, which is the function-based views. And to create a function, you remember, we use the def keyword, then the name of our function. So let's say we can say let's say home. Then inside of this square round brackets, will pass a request, and I'll get to explain what a request is just as we finish. And always remember that anytime you're creating a function, you always need to end them with a full colon. After that, you need to return something. So here you can either choose, there are two ways that you can return a view. You can choose to return. So this is the syntax of writing views. You can choose to return a HTTP response, which is basically a string. And we had talked about strings in Python, if you remember. HTTP. So you can choose to write, and you can pass a string, let's say just random words here, or which we had covered in the last class, or you can choose to render a template or a HTML file. Okay, so to render, you simply, this is the syntax that you use to render. So you can write request, then the name of the template that you want to render. So I can simply come here back to my application. Now we say that Django usually relies is built on the architecture of the MVT architecture: models, views, and templates. So for us to be able to render our templates, so for example, index.html, I need to create a folder that will be able to contain all my HTML files, and this folder is what we usually refer to as templates. Okay, so to do that, I come to my application here, not the project, the application. Then I create a folder. This time I'm not creating a file, I'm creating a folder, which is the second icon over here. And I create a folder and I name it templates. Make sure that you name it correctly, templates, so that it does not give you issues. Once you've created the templates, inside this template folder, you need to come and create a subfolder inside of it. So I'll come and create a subfolder and I'll give it the exact name of the application that I gave it. So if you gave your application, if you called your application ABC, then give it ABC. For me, I used setup, so that's what I'll use. Okay. So after I've done that, I can now come and create and put my templates here, which are basically HTML files. So index.html, and maybe I'll just put 2 for now. Maybe about us.html. So I come back to my views. Now I need to pass this so that when we render our project, it will be able to run this page. So you can leave it this way. Ideally, it should work, but it's usually a good practice just to route it clearly, because at times you have more than one application. It will reach a time where maybe you're creating a project that you have even 5-10 applications here. So you need, and at times, so that it renders the correct application and it does not fail to find your templates or your HTML files. For example, I'd created a setup here. If I can, maybe I have 5 applications, maybe setup, maybe I have blogs, maybe I have finances and all that, and all of them have index.html, then that might bring a conflict. So to be able to sort that and make sure that my path or my routing is clearly marked, I need to come, before I put the HTML file, I need to come and indicate the name of the application where the HTML file is located, which is setup. Then I simply put it's a backslash, I think. No, it's a forward slash. So I can come and do that. Maybe I can come and create another view here and maybe name it about. Then I pass request, which is the request to get this HTML file or this template. Then we will return something, and we will return this HTML file. So you return, and this is what will be rendered in our browser. So we'll return the request that we've passed, and space sits up about.html. Okay, so we've already created our views. You can create as many views as you can, depending on the project that you're working on. The next thing that you need to do, we need to register these views in our URLs. So first of all, we'll start with, you remember we had created this URL file inside our application. So we'll come here and simply register it. And to be able to do that, we'll write this from Django .urls. So we are saying from Django URLs, which, okay, I'm not sure, but I think it's a module. I'll just confirm before we end the class. We need to import the path. Okay. After we've done that, the second thing that we need to do is now import the views that we need to import these view files here. So when I write from, then I put period. This period simply means directory. So it says from this directory here, import the views file. Okay, import views. So after that, we need to come and now put we need to come and write this URL patterns. Then we need to put the path to accessing the views that we've just created. So this one for now, I'll leave it empty, and I'll explain why I'm leaving it empty also. Then we'll write views, which is basically our views file. Then we attach, we want to pass this home. So we want to pass these functions, so home and about. So I'll just come and write home to pass it. Then name, I'll give it home. The second one, I can just come and write path. So here I can simply say I want to pass the views, then about. So I want the about view. So when we talk about the name here, it's the name that will be rendered on our browser anytime that you are rendering these files. Okay. Now we have created the views. We have registered the app in the settings. We have created our URLs at the application level. We need to register these URLs now in the project level. You see here where we have this url.py. You see there too. So we need to come here, and here we'll add include. Okay, then we'll add a path the same way we've added there. So here we will include our URLs. So this is how you include it, and you simply write the name of your application, which is Hit App. dot urls. Yeah, so for now I think we are good. So let's see if everything is working well. So I'll just come back to my application here, and I'll go to my templates. Let me open my application. I'll go to my templates, maybe this index.html, and I'll just generate a boilerplate heading. Let's say Django projects, and maybe the second thing, I'll create a paragraph here, and I'll give it 5,500 words. Okay, so let's come and render. You remember how we said if you want to run our server, this is what you do. You simply write on your terminal, you simply write py manage .py run server. So we have an error. Now this is the advantage of Python and any of Django. It usually tells you if you've made a mistake, and it shows you where you've made a mistake. So I think we've made it here. So we've the spelling here is wrong, as you can see, no module named. So it needs to be the exact name of this application. So it's sit. I think, yeah. So it should sit up dot urls. So let's run the server again. Yeah, it's good. Now it has loaded. Let's see if it works. Yeah, so it works fine. Up to there. Any questions? So that's how you set up your Django project. There's so much still we can do, but today we just wanted to show you how we can be able to set it up and answer a few questions.